And welcome to Sports Scene, everyone. I'm Eli Kleinmann, live with Sam Reno in the Annenberg Media Center.
USC men's basketball tipped off its 2021 season in dominant fashion with an 89-49 win over Cal State Northridge last night. Here's Boogie Ellis and Isaiah Mobley on playing together for the first time.
I mean, it was a great experience. I'm just happy to be home, playing on the West Coast and playing with these guys, man. It's a really exciting team, and I love playing with them, so I'm just happy to be back home and playing here.
It was extremely fun. I think we played well off each other. He's an excellent scorer and playmaker, and it was real fun for me. I look forward to keep on going with it.
Sam, give me your overreactions from game one.
Oh, Eli, I don't have overreactions. I have truths. All aboard the Boogie Ellis hype train. Next stop, All-Americaville. 20 points on 9 of 11. He was getting to his spots, knocking him down. He was a ball of energy out there with 2 steals and a blown kiss for his new home crowd. And we got NCAA tournament Isaiah Mobley. He took 5 threes in that game against Kansas in the round of 32. He took 5 last night and made 2. He was perfect from the line. He doubled his assist output from last season with 3. He was incredible and looked extremely comfortable with the ball in his hands and this new expanded role that Enfield is going to have for him this year.
All right, let's slow down the Boogie Ellis hype train just a little bit. He was excellent. He put on a show for the hometown crowd, but he's not going to shoot 9 of 11 every game. And for Isaiah Mobley, that's where I think there's some concern for USC. He's a good player. He's a really good player. But he's more of a glorified guard, which means he's not going to be a great replacement for his brother Evan Mobley, who was the 3rd overall pick in the NBA draft. Isaiah Mobley struggles to finish inside. He's not the interior defender his brother was. That leaves a bit of a hole in the middle of that Trojans offense and defense.
As if you needed any more convincing from me, this USC team shot better from the free throw line last night than in any game last season. This team has more than enough to replicate the run they made last year.
Definitely some improvements last night. One team that won't be playing this week, USC football, due to a COVID outbreak amongst Cal players. Head coach Dante Williams on the postponement of the weekender to December 4th.
We want to play the game, and a forfeit is not the way to go, and that's not the way that you want to qualify for a bowl game. You know, we want to play, our whole thing is fighting on and competing. I mean, you saw how these guys practiced today, right? You saw the energy, you saw everything else. They found out that the game was pretty much postponed right before we came out here, and they came out here still with the right kind of energy to prepare practice against each other.
Eli, what does the postponement mean for USC?
It means they're going to travel to Cal on December 4th without a chance to make a bowl game, meaning it will be the meaningless last game of the season for USC and the conference. But what's hilarious to me is Dante Williams talking about energy, talking about the right energy. What is the right energy? If USC's been playing with the right energy, it certainly hasn't been working, especially on defense. They've given up a lot of points defensively. They're going to be giving up a lot of points the next couple weeks to 2 very explosive offenses. USC really is just playing that game for show. It is a meaningless last game of the season, and it will probably end USC's season.
Yeah, this whole thing is just ridiculous. You and I both agree USC is likely not picking up a win against either UCLA or BYU, and Cal's not going to win out going into that game. So we're going to play a game after we've determined a Pac-12 championship with 0 stakes. And Dante wants to talk about competitiveness and fighting on. Competitiveness isn't punting from midfield down a point. It's not calling a quarterback power on 3rd and 3 with the non-running quarterback in your failed platoon experiment with Slovis and Dart. Everything surrounding this makes no sense. It was agreed that forfeits were in place should a team not field their team each week. And so it's just ridiculous. I don't understand any of it.
Well, with the week off, USC will start to prepare for UCLA, who they take on next Saturday. The Trojans women's basketball team is just 1 day out from the start of its season. I spoke with sophomore forward Jordyn Jenkins about her expectations for the upcoming season.
What are you looking forward to most this season?
Honestly, I would say just being able to play for our new staff and being able to show them what we're capable of. We've had new offenses and defenses being incorporated into team practice and everything. So I think just being able to show them what we can do both on offense and defense will be fun to start the season off with.
You mentioned the new coaching staff. That's led by Coach Lindsay Gottlieb, obviously, in her first year after leaving the Cavaliers. What has it been like playing for her through the summer and into the fall, getting ready for the season?
It's been pretty serious and fun. I mean, she's a really intelligent lady, and we all have the utmost respect for her, and we listen to her. And I think it's going to be great because of like all the things that she says to us. She gives us quotes before every practice, and she's very inspirational, and she knows what she's talking about, especially coming from the NBA. So it's like we get someone who like taught at the highest level of basketball to come down and, help and teach us. So, yeah.
And for you personally, you finished the season off strong last year in the Pac-12 tournament against Arizona State. You scored a season-high 16 points. What have you worked on to improve from last season to this season, and where do you think you'll have your biggest improvements?
So coming off of an injury last year, I didn't feel 100% myself. So just being able to like have those little accomplishments for myself and not being 100% is really good. And I think now this year I've worked a lot on my shot and just making myself stronger and quicker and just, making myself the best athlete I can be.
Sam, what are you looking out for when the Trojans begin their season against Hawaii tomorrow night?
I think we're all excited to just experience this breath of fresh air that's surrounding this program right now. But specifically, I'm excited to see the impact Tara Reid has on this team, because she's led the kind of culture change that we expect to see from this USC women's basketball team. And her time at VCU, we've all heard about the men's program and havoc, but the women's program has not been up to that standard until she got there. The 3-time All-A10 first-team star led them in scoring for 3 consecutive years, got them to their second NCAA tournament, won their first ever conference title this past season, and she was banged up but still managed to make a third team this year. I think her impact both on the floor and with that experience leading the type of change we hope to see is going to be incredibly valuable for this USC group.
Reid will be one of many players to make an impact this year for USC, but under Lindsey Gottlieb, this team is going to take a step forward. Gottlieb, coming from the NBA, bringing so much experience, one of the best coaches in college basketball before she left to go coach for the Cavaliers. She's really bringing in a new culture that is focused on winning. And for USC on the court, they bring 2 returning players that are going to be key for this season. Jordyn Jenkins, who I interviewed earlier, missed the first 8 games last year, but once she was healthy, an instant impact, especially on the defensive end and rebounding, something USC struggled with last year, finishing 4th worst in the country. And then Alyssa Peely, who Gottlieb has talked about playing some point guard, Point Peely. She can shoot, she can ball handle, she'll be exciting to watch, probably one of the best players in the conference this season.
Exciting times for USC women's basketball, who tip off their season tomorrow night against Hawaii here in South Central. USC soccer is just 3 days away from the start of its 8th consecutive NCAA tournament. I spoke with redshirt senior midfielder Savannah DeMelo. Hello everybody, I'm here in the media center with senior midfielder Savannah DeMelo from the USC women's soccer team, and we're here to talk about the upcoming NCAA tournament, which begins for USC Saturday at 1 o'clock here at McAllister Field. Savannah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, how are you?
Good, thanks for joining us today. I'll start with, you've been with this program for longer than just about anybody. You've played in some U20 World Cups, captained the U18s against Mexico. How valuable is your experience to this group, especially that midfield group with freshmen in Aaliyah and Sydni playing alongside you for most of those minutes?
Yeah, we have a really young team this season, and I think, which is really good, but also could hurt us. But I think just having experienced players like me, Penelope, Anna in the goal, it just kind of helps lead the way for those freshman players to look up to. And I mean, the younger players have been doing amazing. Sydni, Aaliyah, Brooklyn in the back line, they've all just done great jobs coming in and getting into college soccer, which is really hard. So props to them. But I think just having a mix of experience, but also really young, talented players has helped us tremendously.
And not only that experience, but also just in the last couple of weeks, you've played alongside Sydni, you've played up as a single attacking mid, you've played with Croy Bethune in a dual attacking mid position. And it's not just you, the fullbacks have flipped in the last couple of weeks. Penelope will play all over the place, Croy will play all over the place. Aaliyah finished a half at striker and then finished a game at center back. How important is the versatility of this group to a potential tournament run?
Yeah, I think we do have a lot of players this year just because of COVID, but being able to have such versatile players, having, like you said, Aaliyah playing striker, me going up with Croy dropping back, P being able to play everywhere, it just helps give us so many more options, and just knowing that wherever you put players, they're just going to give their 100%. And like I said, being versatile, Zoe Burns is a attacking mid, but she's playing outside back, which is just huge. We have players who will do what they need to do to get the job done.
And obviously, leading the conference from the jump, and then with Friday's result ultimately coming up just short, is there a little bit of extra motivation from that result to make a deep run in the tournament and maybe meet that Bruins team again in the College Cup up in Santa Clara?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was really hard for us coming out of that game with a 3-1 loss, but Coach Kadani said, like, this could be the best thing that's ever happened to us, because it could show us that we never want to feel like this again, and just kind of give us a little bit extra fire going into this season, or to postseason, because now it's you lose and you're done. So just being able to give a consistent 90 minutes is what we're going to do this weekend on Saturday.
And that, with that loss sort of securing you guys on the 3 line, but only lost 3 times this year, all to teams the NCAA committee gave national seeds. Do you feel a little slighted falling there, or is this where you kind of expected to be?
We were hoping for a little bit, maybe a 2nd seed, but we knew that no matter what we got, we were just going to focus on the first game coming up, which is Grand Canyon. And I think the seed happened the way NCAA thought we deserved, and all we can do is just move forward. So I think that's what we've been doing in practice all week, and we're just ready for the game Saturday.
And then with that, 3 means likely, assuming North Carolina takes care of South Carolina this weekend, playing on the road from the majority of this tournament. You mentioned all the way back against Arizona State after that game-winning goal that it was a point of emphasis to get good performances on the road and win games on the road. And you've played in some tough environments like BYU, Michigan, UCLA. How has playing in those atmospheres and playing those games prepared you for what will likely be a road to the College Cup that will be mostly on the road?
Yeah, so like I said, in the beginning, we wanted to go to those BYU environments, those Michigan environments, because we knew that if we make it far enough into the tournament, we're going to go to colleges like UNC, which has won 21 national championships. Like, that school is run from their women's soccer team, so you know that no matter what time of the day, what year, it's like they're going to have fans. So I think just having that experience, and like I said, having a young team, so getting that young team to have those experiences is just going to help us go a long way. And I think we know how to win on the road now, whereas last spring we kind of had trouble with that. So I think it's just going to help us no matter where we go. If they end up coming here, we go to Virginia, we go to North Carolina, wherever, I think we'll be good.
Absolutely. And I have one last question. First, are you aware of the concept of a playoff beard?
Playoff beard? No.
It's in hockey. It's a big thing in the NHL where players will grow out a beard as long as they're in the playoffs. But this weekend at UCLA, Coach Kadani there's a little bit of gray in the facial hair. But then in the video released on Monday after the selection show, clean shaven. And I'm a big believer in blatantly ignoring superstition. And so I'm all aboard the anti-playoff beard train.
Yeah.
Which, do you like the clean shaven Kadani or the gray bearded Kadani?
See, Kadani always did grow beard. I think since I've been here for a long time, like for the past 4 seasons, I think he has always done the beard. So I did not know he shaved it. I'm kind of shocked because he's a very superstitious dude. So maybe he's trying to do a new thing. I don't know. I didn't know because we always wear masks.
That's true.
So I don't really see him much without a mask anymore. But yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm all for the anti-playoff beard.
Yeah, me too.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you, Savannah, so much for joining us here today. Good luck on Saturday, and hopefully good luck for multiple weeks into the future.
Yeah, thank you.
Eli, what did you make of USC's 3rd seed draw in the selection show on Monday?
Well, I certainly hope Kadani McAlpine shaving his beard is not going to curse this team in the NCAA tournament. But I think they have a great spot in the bracket. I think they have a path to the College Cup that they can easily make it there into San Jose in early December. Obviously, traveling on the road is never easy, but USC spent the first month of the season, for the most part, on the road. They played 4 straight road games. That's what DeMelo was talking about, getting prepared to go on the road. They'll be ready. For USC, it's going to be about adjusting to having Hawking back in the lineup. They're a versatile group. Sometimes they've been a little slow adjusting, but I think they'll be ready for the NCAA tournament on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't necessarily share the same level of concern with this attack. I think being able to reintroduce Hawking on Friday and have this whole week, as well as the Grand Canyon game, to sort of get their feet underneath them will be huge. And as far as their draw, they made out extremely well compared to some of the other Pac-12's draws. UCLA's draw, Stanford's draw is brutal. And so to get a Penn State team in the second round, sure, they knocked off Virginia and Charlottesville earlier this year, but they haven't won any of their big games. I think they got the weakest 2 seed in the tournament in North Carolina, who sure are 21 national titles, but only 1 has come since the 2010s, and they didn't win any of their big games this year either. And so I think the road to a potential rematch with the Bruins in the College Cup is right there for the taking, especially given they have the runway to reintroduce Hawking and to get this attack fully functioning again like it was in the middle of that program record winning streak.
Well, the road to the College Cup begins Saturday against Grand Canyon right here at McAllister Field. That's all the time we have for Sports Scene today. Thank you again to Jordyn Jenkins and Savannah DeMelo for joining us, and thanks everyone for tuning in. You can catch another Sports Scene next Wednesday, and you can follow along with all our sports coverage on Twitter at @AndMediaSports and at USCAnnenbergMedia.com.